Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is your Realtor Hugo with another live. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to your daily real estate live, another show on real estate that helps you and those around you learn about real estate and how it can influence you and those around you to not only improve yourself, but also create generational wealth. I am your host, Hugo Quintanilla, licensed realtor in Maryland with Long and Foster. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you know anybody that'd be interested in information such as this and content such as this, please feel free and let them know. Share the live on your favorite platforms. We are going to be on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitch, X, Spotify, and YouTube Music. So feel free and share the live where you would like to. And like I've always said, I'm always available. So feel free and reach out and leave your messages so that I can answer your questions and tailor this live a little bit more towards you and those around you. So today, we are going to be talking about how to save money, smart saving strategies for your dream home in 2024. And the purpose of today's live is to give you a few more added strategies to help you prepare to buy a home some point in the future. The numbers just came out for the past month, and year over year, the price for the average home has gone up by 6%. I'm a little sad about that because, as you all know, homes are already unaffordable as they are. Another 6% is not the type of number that we would like to see. We're seeing the number of sales go down by 3%, meaning that there are still less sales happening than we expect. And that also means that they're probably selling the properties that are selling for higher. So this is making the situation a little bit more complicated when it comes to affordability and when it comes to moving. So, what can we do when we are priced out of the market? We can prepare ourselves and we can try to better understand the process so that when our time comes to own a home, we can do that comfortably and probably less expensively than we would when we have to do it out of desperation. I know everyone would like to own a home tomorrow and would like to purchase a home, and it really can be in the stars for many of you, but for many more of you, it's actually more feasible and probably the more financially savvy choice to possibly wait anywhere from 3 to 5 years. Now, how long will it take for you to wait? That really depends on you and your spending habits. Remember, you need to have a certain amount of money in your escrow account to maintain your mortgage. So, as long as you can make the payments in a reasonable fashion, and consistently have the other factors that you need, when it comes to debt to income and all these other things, then absolutely do it. Building equity in a home is the number one way to build wealth, not just for yourself, but for your family. And you don't pull money out. It's not like a credit card, unless you get like a equity line of credit, like HELOC or something like that, a home equity line. You could draw money out instantly, but that's not the point of real estate. Real estate is a long term investment where we put the money in initially, our security deposit, and that becomes the seed for this tree of equity that ends up sprouting from there. Because as you're paying the mortgage off and paying this loan off, the property is gaining value. Because remember, there are more and more people coming to this country every single day. Immigration practices that have just been passed will cause more and more demand for housing to exist here in the United States. That in turn is not going to cause more houses. They're not building more land. The land that we can use that's known as America exists. America has been claimed. Now, what's going to happen with the homes that are on it? And that's where we get the business of real estate, where people go when they can move. Because remember, not every property is available to be sold at every point in history. There's some properties that went off the market decades ago and will never come back to market. So The available pool of affordable homes and homes that anyone can really have access to is dwindling, especially as people are getting more and more savvy about why real estate is life changing. It starts with one property, then it goes to two, and then it goes to three, and then it goes to four. By the time you're at your fifth one, you've established something that many people don't have, and it's security, financial security. You can start to make decisions differently than most of your peers. And I think that you live more in the now at that point, because when you don't have to worry about where your next, food credit is coming from, or where your next, um, you know, payment is going to go, life is very different that way when you attract this money to you instead of going out there and busting your back every day trying to make it happen. It's a very different energy. So, before I go too far into that left field, these are some strategies that you can definitely implement today to get started on that road to home ownership. Number one, set a clear goal. Determine how much you need for a down payment. Typically aim for 20% of the home's price. For example, if a home is 300,000, then save about 60,000. That is so that you save yourself on some fees and a few other costs that over the life of the loan will, stack up. But you can buy a home with as little as 3.5% down. But everything that I've told you, everything that we've been talking about is doing this financially correct and financially savvily. So if you can, save the 20%. And then we'll do it when you have the 60 grand. It's a very different mathematical equation. And you'll see the numbers. It makes a difference. Number two, create a budget and stick to it. Track your income and expenses. Cut unnecessary spending. Use an app like Mint or Credit Karma to help manage your budget. And keep in mind that a lot of these apps, these third-party financial fintech companies, financial technology institutions, they are taking up a lot of your information. Be careful of what information you're giving them. Be careful of what accounts you link. Be careful of where the data is going and who ultimately owns these companies, because that could sway the information that they give you. So keep that in mind, and find apps that work for you, because if you're using an app, use it. Don't just purchase the membership and then never use it again. Use the tools, because otherwise it's just a waste of money at that point. Number three, open a dedicated savings account. Keep your home savings separate to avoid temptation. Look for a high yield savings account for better interest rates. Another great thing that the high yield savings account can do is that it can give you a return while you're waiting. So over the years, while you're saving, it can build up for you. It's less risky than putting it into the stock market and these other financial vehicles. And it's a very easy way to have your money in a safe spot and watch it grow. Because remember, we need about 60,000 for a $300,000 home just to make that equation feasible and comfortable. Number four, automate your savings. Set up automatic transfers to your savings account. Automatically transfer $200 from each paycheck and just start there. I personally would always set aside anywhere from 10 to 15% of any income that I'm making to my savings and retirement. But I've been working for myself for a very long time. And that's really been the ultimate idea in my head, is that I don't have the luxury of having a retirement fund like many of my peers. So I need to set that money aside. Now, there are other responsibilities that some of us have, like, for example, tithing, which is, giving 10% back to a religious institution. There's always a way to make it work. So make sure that you're budgeting all of this in. You're tithing, you're saving, you're investing, you're lending. You should have a fund that should be just charity money, money that you can just happily give away. And that's the type of budget that you should have, where you could manage these things. But how do you get to that point? How can you survive on that point? You need to control your spending. You need to control where the money is going out. And you need to realize your expenses. You need to cut them down. and make the most, maximize. That's not possible for many of us, but you need to. And as much as you can, as tight as you can tighten that belt, the difference will be that delta that makes the situation happen. It'll be that sacrifice and that effort that makes the opportunity come alive. So your effort is directly proportional to whether or not you get a home. And things like that, sacrificing and trying to scrounge up this money for this, getting to the point of doing it comfortably and learning the process, bettering yourself through the process, it'll make you a better homeowner. And it'll make you more prepared in case anything does arise. You're prepared for it and know that you can overcome anything. The worst thing in the world, you get the property and then the sky falls because, like, hey, you found out that you have a leak somewhere. No, that's not how to approach life at that point. You're a homeowner at that point. You're an adult. Like, you should have been an adult 20 seasons ago when you started doing the lending process. But I get it. It doesn't really feel real until you are standing there in front of your house and this place is yours and I'm gone, and you bought this home. Sometimes it doesn't dawn on you. But number 5, cut back on subscriptions and unnecessary services. Cancel unused subscriptions or downgrade to cheaper plans. Replace cable TV with streaming services like Netflix. You don't need 20 different streaming services either. So look at options that work for the shows that you want to watch, because honestly, if you're watching more Netflix than learning, there's a problem. The biggest thing that I ask a lot of you to do is to be a student of life and to learn, to keep learning, because I'll open up a door for you, but you need to be able to walk through it to see the rest of the information. And if you're spending more time on Netflix, it's probably, the odds are that you're not going to be really on the track to home ownership. And I get everything about, like, taking some time to relax and chill and enjoy, but everything in moderation. I know people that just rot away in bed doing Netflix all day long. I think they've finished Netflix. I think they've gone through all of Netflix. Yeah, it's just like that. I know you guys aren't like that, but still, it's balance. Anything, balance. Number 6, cook at home more often. Eating out can be expensive. Plan meals and cook at home. Save $50 a week by cooking at home instead of dining out. And I get going out, date nights, cheat days. I get it. I'm out all the time. I typically eat my meals outside. I still pack my food. And in the packing of my food, probably I save myself hundreds of dollars a month, because I eat horribly when I go out and eat. And the amount that I've saved myself in digestive problems and just money and in general just life, quality of life, I feel better eating at home. So, not knocking any restaurants or not knocking any businesses, organizations, or establishments. Go over there and enjoy something that you can't make at home. Always get something that's worth the visit. Enjoy the experience, but don't make that the norm. Unless you feel comfortable blowing that money away. But I'll be honest with you, meals at home taste different when your house is paid and you don't have a landlord that's trying to breathe down your neck. I'm just saying. Number 7, take on a side hustle. Consider freelance work, gig economy jobs, or sell items online. Earn an extra 500 a month through freelance writing, for example. And there are tons of other things that you could do too. I was talking the other day to some friends about Yelp and reviewing. That was a very big thing a few years ago, and it's actually making a strong comeback. So if you're a foodie, or if you're someone that's out there and can take good pictures, can compile good captions, make nice engaging content, and has a great insightful take on the places that you visit, there is a market for your reviews. And there are restaurants that would be more than happy to have you come through. And look at celebrities now that are taking advantage of such formats, like Keith Lee, that overnight has taken these food reviews to a viral sensation, and anything can happen at that point. So really look into the options that you do have as a side hustle, because you never know where it could lead you. Number 8, use cash back and reward programs. Utilize cashback apps and credit card rewards for everyday purchases. Earn cash back on groceries using apps like Rakuten. There are tons of cashback and point systems that you can use, but try to refrain from using so much credit. Remember, credit dings your credit score. What we want to do is keep those little incidentals and stuff like that on those cards so that we're using these cards and building credit, paying off the cards as they come in, and getting points for the things that we use the most. That doesn't mean put everything on the card. That doesn't mean, make that the only reason why you purchase anything. That doesn't mean, use the points as a blanket. The points are a scam. The points are a gambit used to try to get you to spend more money. They are giving you a tenth of a dollar on the money that you spend. Yes, it's better than getting nothing. But at the end of the day, don't live and die by the points, because the points will not keep you warm at night. The points are actually a sign that, hey, you've spent a lot of money, and we'll give you some of it back so you spend more money. Just remember that, okay? It's not to knock you or knock the points or anything like that. It's just the truth. It's a financial tool. And that's what they use to reward you for using the tool. And it's a great tool. But know the tool, use the tool for your own devices, and build wealth another way. You're not going to make yourself rich or save your way into wealth unless you take the risks to make these big moves, like real estate, like investing. So, number 9, speaking of investing, invest wisely. If you have a longer term vision on the horizon, consider low risk investments. For example, invest in a low cost index fund to grow your savings over time. My co host Fluffy has come into the picture. Invest wisely and take your time and do your research. There's no rush. If you can't understand it, don't invest in it. It's not worth the headache, because your savings will be lost. It's not even like a if scenario, it's a when scenario. And I've seen it happen a lot. People jump into things they don't know, they can't explain, and it isn't good for anyone. The only person making money is the broker that processed the transaction. So, number 10, stay motivated and monitor your progress. Regularly check your savings progress and adjust your strategies. Review your savings every month to stay on track. It really does make a difference when you start qualifying everything and start tracking your progress. That was something I picked up a long time ago in retail, but at that time I didn't really appreciate it for what it was. But once you start measuring your own KPIs and start looking at your own real important metrics, you will start to see progress. You need to focus on what those metrics change and how to push the needle forward. Because if you're seeing that, hey, I cut out all these things and I'm still not getting ahead, what else can I do? And then you still really start to have to question where you are in your career in general, because some people get to the point where, okay, I can't do the side hustles no more. I can't do this. I can't do that. I'm at my wits end when it comes to this. I've maximized everything and I'm still running short. That should then be that red flag that shows you, hey, okay, now it's time for me to really consider moving further to another job that's going to pay me more. You are entitled to get raises that meet and exceed the cost of living. And a lot of people forget that they feel like they are capped by the cost of living in their area. So don't forget that you're only as valuable as you make yourself to an organization. And we'll probably talk about that another day. So thank you to everyone that is watching home And feel free and share the live if you know anyone that wants to buy a home but doesn't really know where to start. If you're just joining us, today it was smart saving strategies for your dream home in 2024. Number one was set a clear goal. Number two was create a budget and stick to it. Number three, open a dedicated savings account. Number four, automate your savings. Number five, cut back on subscriptions and unnecessary services. Number six, cook at home more often. Number seven, take on side hustles. Number eight, use cash back and rewards programs. Number nine, invest wisely. And number 10, stay motivated and monitor your progress because it makes a difference. Again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in. I will see you all later today for another actual live to talk a little bit more about me. We'll talk more about Fluffy and we'll talk about what's been up and how things are going to be going from here on out. So happy Friday. I hope you all have a great weekend. Enjoy the summer solstice and the full moon. And I will see you all next time for just a regular live. Take care. Have a great night.